Okay, so today we are going to start our unit on 3D figures. We're going to start by going over lateral surface area of 3D figures. So first off, we need to figure out what is just surface area. Well, the surface area of a 3D figure is referencing the area of its faces. Basically, it's how much it would take to cover all of the sides of the figure. Okay? Well, lateral surface area is the total area of all sides of the figure, excluding, which it means not including, the bases. So what it isn't including is the lateral faces. Okay? So when you think about this, what I want you to think about a soup can label. Okay? So the soup can label goes all the way around the shape. It doesn't go on top of that shape. So, or on the bottom of that shape. So our lateral surface area here is this area right here, all of this shaded section. Okay, I'm trying to highlight it, but it's not showing up. So it's the shaded region there. Okay, so now we're going to go on to our main shapes here. Okay, first we have a prism. This specific prism is a rectangular prism. Okay, a rectangular prism has 4 lateral faces. Okay, has 4 lateral faces. Now, the number of lateral faces that are on a prism are dependent on the base. Okay, so it depends on how many sides that base should have, or how many sides that base has. So here, we're going to highlight all of the lateral surface area in yellow. Okay, so this is all of the lateral surface area here. And then we're going to highlight all of the bases in green. So what we are trying to find is just the area of that yellow region. Okay, now each of those lateral faces for a rectangular prism, or really for any prism, are rectangles. Okay, so now let's move on to the next one. This next one is a cylinder. Well, a cylinder is a special type of prism. Okay? Now, it only has one lateral face. That lateral face is where my soup can label would go. So it's all of this area right here, front and back. The bases of this cylinder are both circles. So it's these parts right here. Okay? So the one lateral face that I have here is a rectangle. You can kind of see with this shape right here, this is my lateral surface area. So since that is my lateral surface area, that's where my soup can label would go. And that's why that is the lateral surface area. And that's why we only have one lateral face, which is a rectangle, on a cylinder. Okay, so this next shape here, this is a pyramid. This specific pyramid is a rectangular pyramid. Okay? Now, this shape has 4 lateral faces. Again, these faces depend on what base you have. So if the base here was a pentagon, we would end up having 5 lateral faces instead of 4 lateral faces. If it was a triangle, we would only have 3 lateral faces instead of 4 lateral faces. Okay, so the base here the lateral faces depend on the number of sides your base actually has. Now here, the lateral faces are not rectangles. All of my lateral faces here are triangles. So we're going to highlight those triangles. So this right here is all of my lateral surface area, or my lateral area. And this is my base. So just that green area right there, that's my base. Okay, last one here. This is a cone. Okay, again, this one only has one lateral face, kind of like the cylinder. And, like my pyramid, the lateral face is a triangle. So here we're going to highlight my lateral surface, or my lateral face. It's all of this right here. And then here we're going to highlight the base. It is that circle down there at the bottom. Okay, so those right there are my lateral faces and of the different shapes that I have. Okay, so let's go on and go do an example here. Okay, on this first problem, they want us to find the lateral surface area of this triangular prism. Well, first things first, we are looking for all of this area right here, and then there's an area on the bottom and an area on the other side. Okay, well, before we can get started on finding that, we need to find what this length is. So let's find that length right there. We're going to call that my width. Well, we know that this right here cuts this right here cuts this bottom length in half. So when we divide 15 by 2, we get 7.5. So now we're going to have to do Pythagorean theorem to find my width here. Well, width squared equals 7 squared plus 7.5 squared. Then to get width by itself, we square root everything. So we square root 7 squared plus 7.5 squared. So my width is 10.26. So this is 10.26. Now, these two triangles right here have the same slant height, or the same side lengths right here. So this is also going to be 10.26. So even though I only have to find the area of my 3 faces, I really have to find the area of 2 faces and then multiply one of those faces by 2. And what I mean by that is we're going to find the area of this face right here, and this face is the same as the other side, which would be over in this area right here. But then we need to find the area of the bottom shape, which has the width of 15. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to find the area of one of my sides. We're going to do 10.26 times 21, and that's going to give me 215.46. And now, since we have 2 of those, all we've got to do is multiply this by 2. When we do that, we get 430.92. So that is almost all of my lateral surface area. But now I need to find the area of that bottom part of this shape. Well, the way I'm going to do that is I'm just going to do 15 times 21. When I do 15 times 21, I'm going to end up getting 315. Well, since I have 315, I'm just going to go ahead and add these two together so that I can find the total lateral surface area. So we add these together and we get 745.92. So the total lateral surface area equals 745.92 centimeters squared. Okay, so that's how we're going to work that first problem. Okay, now on this second problem right here, it says, what is the lateral surface area of the following figure? Well, this right here is a rectangular pyramid. Well, to find the area of a triangle, we have to do base times height divided by 2. So, what I'm going to do here is I'm first going to find this length right here, because this is the height of this triangle right here. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight this one. This triangle right here is what I'm trying to find. And once I find that triangle, I can find the area of this other triangle as well. But before I can find the area of that triangle, I need to find the height of this triangle. So this bottom part right here, we do know, because it is right in the middle here. So we're going to take 32 and divide that by 2. So the base of this triangle is 16 feet. Now we have enough information to find the height of this triangle. Again, we're going to have to do Pythagorean theorem. We're going to have to do that a lot. So height squared equals 16 squared plus 24 squared. Well, to get h by itself, we square root, so we square root 16 squared plus 24 squared. So the height of that triangle up in front is 28.84. Okay, so this height right here is 28.84. Well, now that would only help me find the area of 2 of my lateral faces. So instead, I'm also going to have to find the area of these 2 faces. The triangle up in the front and the triangle way back here. So we need to find the height of those 2. I'm going to go ahead and change the color so that we can actually work with this here. Now, thankfully, we do still know this length right here. We're going to take 17.5 and we're going to divide that by 2. When we do that, we get 8.75 feet. And again, we're going to go straight into doing Pythagorean theorem. Well, I know it's going to end up being h equals the square root. So now I just need to do base times height, or base squared plus height squared. So 8.75 squared plus 24 squared. So now when I plug that into my calculator, I get 25.55. So now all we have to do is we need to find the area of both of these triangles. So first things first, we're going to find the area of my yellow triangle. So we're going to do 28.84 times 17.5 because we have base times height, and we're going to divide that by 2. So this gives me 252.35. Then I need to multiply it by 2 because I have 2 of those faces. So I get 504.7. Then we're going to do the same thing with the other triangles. So we've got 32 times 25.55 divide that by 2. So when we divide that by 2, we end up getting 408.8. Well, that only gives me one of my sides, and so we're trying to find the area of both of my greens together. So we're going to multiply that by 2. When we do that, we get 817.6. So now we have the areas of both of my sets of lateral surface area. So what we're going to do is we're going to add those together. So we're going to do 504.7 plus 817.6. When we do that, we get 1322.3. So the total lateral area equals 1322.3 feet squared. So if you have any questions, you can come up and ask me, and go ahead and work on your practice.